podcast is intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and you're listening to the Voice of the People. Let's get ready for Boxing Voice.
ThaBoxingVoice.com.
You need that fear.
All I'm trying to do is make a stand for something that I truly believe is right. I truly believe is right. I want to be like you. Come on, man. I'm the face of boxing. I'm the cash cow. I hold a record with you.
My job, I know my job, I know my situation. I want to fight.
Production.
But it's going to be very difficult for both of us.
ThaBoxingVoice.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another flagship edition of the Boxing Voice, hashtag TBV podcast, wherever hashtag or use. I'm your host, Nestor Gibbs, and we are back. Got 5 hot button topics. Somehow, Dana White has it made up in his mind that he is going to have a meeting later on today with Floyd Mayweather. And last time we checked, Floyd was telling Fight Hype he was not fighting in the UFC. But there are rumors now of a new Mayweather-McGregor rematch, and they're trying to get Mayweather in the cage. Is he going to bite? I don't know. I just don't know if he's going to bite. I mean, you know, he said $1 billion. Do they have that type of money? That's something we're going to be talking about. One of our hot button topics, obviously, AJ and Joseph Parker. Anthony Joshua, the IBF and WBA champion in the heavyweight division out of London, already agreed to the terms with Joseph Parker. So Joseph ended up getting somewhere between 30 and 35. We'll bounce that back and forth and see where exactly we believe Joseph landed. But the fight is basically signed, sealed, and delivered. It's looking like a March date. So we'll talk about that. And since we're talking heavyweights, we got Shannon the Cannon Briggs and Tyson Fury. 2 polarizing heavyweights. One definitely past his prime, but if Tyson's looking for a tune-up, I don't think he could find a bigger named tune-up, not named Shannon Briggs. And then we have to talk about everyone's new darling. All the pound-for-pound rankings have this guy somewhere in there, Vasyl Lomachenko, continuing to be not only a writers and experts darling, but starting to slowly win over the hardcore fans, now being vocal and quoted saying that he would like to participate in the next WBSS or WB, I don't know, whatever, the World Boxing Super Series, a tournament which pits numerous top-level opponents in the same division in a tournament. And Vasyl wants that. He wants that. So that's something we'll be talking about. Then we got our headlines today where we summarize and kind of squeeze in any other topics that you guys might want to talk about. And since there's so many hosts, we're going to head on out to the Golden State, get this show started, to the home of the Hipster Hunter.
ThaBoxingVoice Production.
This is a beautiful performance against a very tough guy in Michael Johnson. How do you feel about it?
Fuck that. Conor McGregor.
ThaBoxingVoice.com.
You know me, Larry. From a wicked entrance, from a flip over the rope into a knockout. Now, when the main thing is, I just help the guy. I wish.
ThaBoxingVoice.com.
Yes, the Hipsters here. Haters beware. And Ness, come on, man. You got to be in pre-production a little bit more. I know you weren't in the meetings this morning with, the TBV behind the scenes and work, making the show work, come together. But Dana White has continued to say, this is not about Floyd Mayweather entering the UFC and fighting MMA. This is about the UFC / Dana White entering boxing and off the backs of Mayweather / Al Heyman. That's what this is. Dana White is quoted saying, this is about me entering boxing and promoting boxing. So again, this may not be about even Mayweather fighting. This could just be about a partnership between Mayweather Promotions and the UFC for a boxing venture, which I think is big news for the sport and definitely something that a lot of fans are misconstruing about this topic and this news and this headlines. So we're obviously going to delve into that. AJ,
Matt.
yes.
We don't believe you. You need more people.
Oh, that's my sit down, Hove. It's okay. But AJ versus Parker, I think the most interesting part of this news is the rematch clause. And if Joseph Parker wins, which is the only reason this rematch clause will be in effect, he will get a 55% cut of. That's huge news. I can't wait to delve into that.
I can't wait to fucking give my take on that. Don't let me forget that I want to talk about that, like, for real.
Okay, I'll remind you. Don't worry, Ness. Tyson Fury versus Shannon Briggs. I think it's a fantastic fight. I know that might get some hate. Vasyl Lomachenko in the World Boxing Super Series, WBSS. I think that's a great idea. I hope more bigger names, more stars in the sport enter that and sort of make that a thing. And I hope it gets actual U.S. television rights or just streams it on YouTube. I think that's what they should do going forward. But can we delve into all these topics? And with the full panel, God, Voltron, unite right now. I mean, come on. This is great right here.
What's up, man? Yeah, man. Yeah, I just want to say I saw the fight too.
Stay focused, stay working my jab, use my fundamental. Nice boxing voice.
Because if he comes to fight, then I'm going to have to look for him.
I saw the fight too.
I think you're accurate.
Yes, accurate indeed. Talk your shit. I'm here with the Boxing Voice. My name is Enrique Church, the casual fan. Dana White is back in business, trying to do business, right, in boxing. I actually saw that FS1 interview with him live this afternoon.
Enrique.
Yo.
You trying to make weight or something? What you got? You got a hoodie?
Yo, I made weight. Actually, I saw that interview while I'm on the treadmill, working out for that actual
we don't believe you.
What it was 2018. I actually don't care what Matt believes. I know what I believe. I know who I am, and possibilities. Let's talk about it.
All right, let's head on back to New Jersey. Where's my backspin? New Jersey.
I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one to stop me. Lynch is a conqueror. No, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander. I'm the best ever. There's never been anybody. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from Nairclaw. There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. Get up!
Yeah, Alex Doomsday back with the full panel. And let me tell you something. At all these topics right now, the one that got me excited is actually the Shannon Briggs, Tyson Fury comeback fight, man. I think that a lot of casuals would definitely jump to see this fight, being as though Shannon Briggs has touched on so many social media levels and has actually gotten into like fans just following him, not just out of the love of boxing, just because of his, his rant, "Let's go chant." I think that would be a great tune-up fight for him. If you want to, he is, even though it's sad to say, somebody like Shannon Briggs, ex-former champ, he is a tune-up at this point, in my opinion. And I don't know if they would do it in America. Matt, you said something about American rights. I don't think they would do it. I think they fight out there in Europe. And then Dana White, I think it is something. I think I ended up reading something about him really saying that it was like a co-promotion into boxing with Floyd Mayweather. I don't see Mayweather fighting MMA. I really don't.
We should talk about that first, man. Let's talk about that.
You know what I'm saying? And then Lomachenko, WBSS, the World Boxing Super Series tournament. He wants to dominate in it on all levels, so he's interested in that. That's pretty cool. And we talked about the 35% that Parker was asking for in the past show. We did maybe about a month ago, something like that. And it looks like they finally got it, or they've come, to a number between 30 and 35%. And I hope that it happens. It's in March, right? That one's in March, and Briggs in April.
Rumored.
There's rumored, right? It's not
all rumored. I mean, but let's get right into it.
Dana White.
I mean, Enrique, you kind of influenced this topic being on the show. I'm not really sure where Matt would have fell with this one. We didn't do much talking today, but I guess take it away. How did the casual fan receive this news?
First off, right, as I'm in the gym running on 8.4 on the treadmill, sweating bullets, making way for TBV Border Wars 2018. There's a bunch of televisions. Yes, indeed. Yes, thank you for that. Though that's the deep breaths that my opponent will be taking. So in my gym, there's a bunch of flat screen TVs, and on one of them was FS1 Sports. So Dana White is there next live interview. I'm like, oh shit, interesting. Let me see. They showed McGregor. They showed Floyd Mayweather. So as he spoke, I was able to read the subtitles, and I came to the conclusion after it was all over that Dana White is a businessman. He did say he did say he wants to go into boxing 2018. And immediately I was like, oh, that explains his talk with Floyd, and the fans, they just immediately jump into like, oh, Floyd is going to the UFC. Don't know where that came from. There's a phrase that people say, show me your friends and we can tell you who you are. Dana made a relationship with the blockbuster Floyd versus Conor. Hence, that's why they're together. He did say something about possibilities, the audience interest, and what he can bring to the boxing world. And the question was, MMA fighters? I don't know, he answered, and it circles back. Okay, possibilities, audience interest, the relevance of the people. And that's what that whole meeting with Floyd Mayweather is possibly about. And I believe that's what it is about. So that's how it came to me in the gym, FS1 Sports. And I read it all.
Now, those real MMA fans have to be slightly pissed off by this. At one point, boxing was being slighted. People were thinking boxing's dying, UFC's taking over. And now we're seeing more and more bigger named UFC fighters wanting boxing contracts. Most recently, I heard Chris Cyborg wanted to dabble in boxing. And after watching her spar with Clarissa Shields, the two-time gold Olympian super middleweight, I wouldn't mind her getting into boxing. And I will admit that I'm probably going to watch her fight Holly Holmes, just because I've always liked Cyborg when she was on.
Whoa, Ness, you're gonna watch the UFC event on Saturday?
I don't know if I'm going to watch the event. I'm pretty sure I'm going to watch the fight, whether it be playback link or some shit like that. But
they both strikers.
Maybe Ness on Mixed Combat Radio. I'm just saying that'd be interesting. Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a live stream and Saturday we don't have anything boxing, I mean, I wouldn't mind coming on my co-host's moonlighting show and dropping some jewels. Because like I said, after watching Chris Cyborg get in there with Clarissa, I'm intrigued. So if Dana can be the vessel that creates these opportunities for these fighters like a Cyborg to say, all right, let me get some of Marlon Esparza or Clarissa Shields or Christina Hammer or whoever, bro, because let me tell you, Demetrius Salita signed Christina Hammer. Now he has Clarissa Shields. So that super fight is bound to come in 2018. But once that's done, Clarissa could step in, Cyborg could step in UFC McGregor style and make it the biggest female combat sports interchanging, whatever, the whole Mayweather McGregor thing, but the female version of it. Obviously, Cyborg needs to be built up just a little more, and so does Clarissa. Like Cyborg kind of, she was hot, then she had some testing issues with PEDs. She kind of went back to Brazil and was fighting far away. Nobody really seen her. Now she's like back. She has a UFC deal. We're about to see. Is this her debut now, or Matt, or am I getting carried away here?
Her debut.
Okay. So what, she fought some tuna cans before?
She's fought two credible opponents, I would say.
Really? So why is this one the one being glorified?
Because this is the big opponent. Holly Holm is well known. Holly Holm beat Ronda Rousey.
But isn't Holly like very old?
She's a boxer. She's a champion.
She's like what?
She's a champion in boxing, bro.
Crashed in her last fight?
No, Holly Holm.
No, she didn't.
She's up in weight though. That is true.
Well, anyway,
it's like what, 5 pounds, man.
I really wanted to hear Ness take on Dana White on this one.
Well, that is my
that's strategy. So he's saying his strategy. Does he has the rights to any of those fighters?
I mean, Matt can answer that. All I'm saying is if he's going to be the vessel to get those fighters over here, because I know there's like another heavyweight, right? There's like a, what about a Kane?
That it may be something very different than what you're thinking. Though I do think a Cyborg Clarissa Shields fight is possible. I think that the way you put it out is very, very likely. I'll put it that way. However, I think this is a completely new venture. This is the
you don't think this is Dana White kind of opening the UFC boxing division and still being the promoter for his UFC fighters that are willing to dabble in boxing?
I think that makes sense, but I don't think that Cyborg, who I just heard of, and then when you said Brazil, I know who she is. I never saw a fight. I don't think that's the lead way. I mean, it can be, but I don't know.
That is.
I'm gonna say this very quickly,
like somebody like Nate Diaz or something who's known, who's ring bells, because he did answer a question that there will be no Nate Diaz McGregor Part 3.
I can honestly say though that a Clarissa Shields matchup with Cyborg would definitely not only gain attention to the everyday fan, but like for women, it'll give them that special attention. You know what I'm saying? It would be a big fight in the women because you all know Cyborg. You know, and Matt knows this in MMA. She's like the killer. She's the one to beat. You know what I mean?
But question
very quickly, Enrique. I don't think that's the main point. I think the larger, bigger picture here of this story is that the UFC could be entering boxing. So along with Top Rank, PBC, main events, all these other promoters, we're now going to have UFC in the realm.
So what are you thinking, Matt? They're going to spill over fighters from UFC into boxing?
I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be fighters. I don't think it's going to be. I don't think that's going to be the main point. That could be a selling point in the short term, but long term, it's about cultivating young, new talent and new young stars. So they could partner necessarily with a Mayweather Promotions.
Matt,
back off an existing stable.
That is true, and that's pure business. Matt, name the 3 superstars of MMA besides after Conor McGregor.
Nate Diaz, Holly Holm.
I know Nate Diaz. Holly Holmes, she's talked about as she's a fighter.
I would say John Jones, but he's obviously dealing with his PD issues right now. So John Jones, Holly Holm, and Nate Diaz behind McGregor probably.
Really?
Yeah. Ronda Rousey's out of the mix. It's probably those 3.
Heather Hardy just fought a UFC.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. See, Matt, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can go knock on Rousey's door and say, listen, we're thinking of crossing over, doing some...
Rousey's getting no. Trust me, because I know more about that side of the industry.
Rousey ain't coming
about
back.
to get a WWE deal. She's about to get a pro wrestling deal.
Yeah.
That's what everyone's saying inside the industry in MMA is that Ronda Rousey's going into pro wrestling.
And that's
so I don't think Ronda Rousey entering boxing is the deal. That's not what
man. You know the way boxing works, man. You get Ronda Rousey a Showtime.
Pro wrestling money's more.
Showtime.
She won't do it, Ness. She got knocked out. Boxing stand-up.
Doggy. She got knocked out with little gloves. She got knocked out with little gloves. You get her a Showtime
glove don't matter.
Andre Ward type of deal where she gets like 2 fights that she knows she's gonna win, and then she's in there with a name.
0 chance of that happening, Ness. 0.
It's not gonna happen, bro.
Not even close. She's getting a deal in pro wrestling.
Matt, you said WWE, Matt, and I'm like, I'm not even mad. I'm not even surprised. It's just
she's
like
featured on their network numerous times. They've talked about a deal.
Yeah.
They have openly talked about it. Rousey has openly talked about it. They're close to a deal.
Yeah, and that makes sense, man. That's like getting a Hollywood deal with WWE.
What? There's money in wrestling, bro.
Well, speaking of Hollywood deals or Cinderella deals, Joseph Parker obviously landing a big money fight here with Anthony Joshua. I'm not surprised. When Eddie Hearn came on this show, he made it clear that they were going after that last belt to take away all negotiation power from Deontay Wilder and his thoughts of having a 50-50. If Joshua becomes a unified WBO, IBF, and WBA champion after this March bout with Joseph Parker, again, Wilder will have no room to negotiate. You know, Anthony Joshua's popularity and stock will have risen. This is a great move. And again, just not surprised at all.
Again, I agree. I'm not surprised at all. And I'm more surprised about the rematch clause and the split of that rematch clause. I think that's the biggest shocking news of this deal. The location makes sense. It's in the UK. The split for this fight makes sense. It's about 32% allegedly for Joseph Parker. That makes sense. That's what they've been rumored at for weeks now. Rematch clause with Joseph Parker winning and Joseph Parker getting 55%. That is the news of the story.
How is that news to you? I thought you as a hardcore would be laughing at this the way that I am. I mean, for people to be eating this up like, wow, he's getting 55%. He's not even making it there. Call me an underestimator. Say I'm writing him off. There's no sense in this is boxing writers and editors, making headlines for their websites and their columns because check the betting line right now. No one believes Joseph Parker's going to fucking win, let alone get a rematch, please.
Agreed.
They could give him 75%. Yo, they could say 75. It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter. He won't make it.
I think this is a huge concession on AJ's part. I'll put it that way in his team. Because that's a 20%. That's over, hold on, very quickly. That's over a 20% increase.
But how else would it work, Matt? Like, realistically speaking, you could be the A side all you want. If you lose, that is part of the deal. You're no longer the A side. So 55 isn't surprising at all. You're the A side.
I don't know. I'll put it this way. If you're still the bigger draw, does it matter if you lose in terms of negotiation?
Yeah, but that all goes with how much of an impact did that loss give you? Was it dominant performance? There was, did you get taken out? So there's so many factors to that, but I see where you're going.
I don't know, man. I just don't see, after watching that Andy Ruiz fight, I just can't see him leveling up.
Hey, listen, Andy Ruiz, even though he looked,
Ruiz is small. He's small. He's not AJ 200.
He's a hard puncher though, Ness. He's a really hard puncher. He knows how to keep big guys at bay, if not, actually on their back foot.
Who's harder puncher? The one with the 100% knockout ratio, or the one that you think hits hard that doesn't knock out people?
No, well, let me tell you something. There's a difference between an athlete and having punching power and just having punching power. As you know, Andy Ruiz has been, losing weight, getting in better shape. And still he has that power. He doesn't have the mobility of AJ.
There's levels of difference, though.
I didn't say that. I didn't say there wasn't levels. I'm just saying Andy Ruiz is not a walkover. He's a durable heavyweight. You know what I mean? It's just he's not as athletic.
Yeah, but you have what it takes to beat the durable top 8 guy in the division. But that doesn't mean you have what it takes to beat the number 1 guy or the number 2 guy in the division.
Hey, styles make fights, man. Like
True.
Styles make fights, and sometimes it's just you got a guy that's durable, hits hard enough for you to fucking respect them, and you gotta be careful with him. I'm not saying that Parker's gonna beat AJ, man. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I can make an early pick now and easily say AJ is gonna win. But styles make fights, and obviously Parker and them feel real confident in what their team is doing over there and how they're gonna approach the AJ fight. So we'll see what happens.
I have really no other points on this story. I think it just we've known this for a while. It's just been
that's what I said. It's no surprise to me, but this rumor, it's not surprising either because I'm pretty sure it originates from a Shannon the Cannon IG post more than likely, and the bloggers of the world have taken it over where it's become a headline. But Tyson Fury and Shannon Briggs, the thought of it doesn't bother me. I know that he's a 45-year-old man, that if he had a full head of hair, we would probably look at him as an older man. But being bald, having a magnificent physique, it allows you to forget how old he really is. And, his mouthpiece is so good. He's such a personality that he captivates you and makes you wonder how the build up to the fight would be, even though we know that in the ring he will lose. I guess the only question I would have for a Tyson Fury is, if you took this as a tune-up, can you stop him? Because a 45-year-old heavyweight should be stopped. Heavyweight power is the last thing to go for any fighter, and it's the heavyweight division. We already expect action and power. And it's a 45-year-old man, and you're the lineal champ, and saying that guys like Wilder and Joshua cannot beat you. Winning a 12-round decision with Shannon Briggs,
Shannon the Cannon,
5-year-old man. I don't know if that's like passable for me, but the fight is good. But he must win a knockout, in my opinion.
What about like a TKO?
Yeah, stoppage.
Yeah, the ref could jump in and save the guy, but it can't go 12. You can't do Vladimir Klitschko, Tyson Fury with Shannon Briggs. It can't.
Is Shannon Briggs even in shape for a 12-round fight? Will he be ready for a 12? I mean,
He have enough PEDs in him that he can.
Homie, I don't even think the question is he in shape? The question would be, will he pass the test?
Yeah, that's really the question.
He's been off 2 years. Fury's been off, what, 3 to 4? I mean, I think it's gonna be a good fight, man. I mean, how in shape is gonna be Fury? Is he gonna be in super shape, or is he gonna be in okay shape? And also, it depends on how good of a shape Fury is. You gotta remember.
No. I mean, you have to believe that Fury isn't gonna be in super. Like, he's gonna be like you going into border wars, losing a few pounds and kind of shaking off the rust.
Oh man! All right, well, there you go.
Yeah, he's never going to be 100%.
I see this being like a 10-rounder, not a 12-rounder, if they're smart.
I was going to go 2 rounds below you, man. 8. I was saying 8.
I don't know if you could go back to 8, you know what I mean?
8 max.
You can do a 10-rounder for sure, though. Let's be honest. They can get away with that. And I think Tyson Fury can easily win a 10-rounder affair where he wins every round, and he gets on the mic and talks enough shit that we don't care really.
Imagine out of shape Tyson Fury. How would those 10 rounds look?
Oh God, no.
Oh man.
So he needs to get him out of there. And if Fury cannot move the way that he did in the Vladimir Klitschko fight, listen, Shannon has power. He may get hit.
I mean, look, Shannon dubs himself a rhythm fighter. He says that Fury's a rhythm fighter. You know, and we do see, Fury with his rhythm and his, his pivoting and all that stuff. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes down, because Shannon, he likes to hit to the body, man. He likes to hit to the body. We got to see how Fury.
There's no way Shannon Briggs wins this fight.
Yo, how's Fury gonna take a body shot coming off the couch 4 years and shit? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yo, how's Shannon Briggs gonna fight without PEDs? Come on, man. Like, let's be real here.
Damn, shitting on. Let's go.
He'll fight. The question is, how's he gonna look? But wow, we're flying through these. I mean, Vasyl then, right? WBSS. But this is just an afterthought. This is just a reporter, getting a good quote, because there's no solid rumors of another tournament in the lower division. Not yet, anyway.
But the World Boxing Super Series has talked about doing it in lower divisions. The next tournament, the next series of tournaments.
But there's no rumor of the tournament happening, right?
I mean, of this division, I believe this is one of the divisions World Boxing Super Series mentioned.
What division is that?
Anyway, let's play his game. I mean, what division would it hypothetically be in?
Super featherweight.
Yeah,
130?
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, isn't it the same shit? Like, who are we really going to care? Like, the only two named people there, not that they're on the level.
We're gonna care. We are gonna care. Are casual fans gonna care? No, of course not.
No. I don't even think hardcores are gonna care. I mean, there's only 2 names, and you're not gonna get Gervonta in there because you didn't get Tabiti in the last one.
You don't think fans will care if like Miguel Burchell jumps in there? You really don't think fans will care? Like, I think
those fights, we're getting them, bro. We're getting that already without a World Boxing Super Series. Burchell and everybody. Look at the lower divisions. Roman and Cuadras, now Estrada and somebody, or Kit Kat or something. Like, it's happening without tournaments.
They said they were going to concentrate on
the middleweight division. That's another one. I'm sorry, Doomsday, but in the middleweight division, we're not seeing a pseudo type tournament, Matt. I mean, it's happening.
Super middleweight.
All over the world, bro. The best are fighting the best. Slowly but surely, the best are fighting the best.
Well, exactly. To be honest, naturally, the rankings sort of work out like a tournament in theory. Does it not? Sometimes fights don't always work out that way, to the structure, to the meritocracy of it all. But usually,
kind of, but not.
But it's nice to have a tournament there. Come on. I've loved the super middleweight tournament. I love the cruiserweight tournament. I think they've all delivered good fights.
I think love is a very strong word. I think that you're using it too loose. I think that the Super Six. I mean, excuse me.
I love it.
That's the main problem right there, and that is absolutely not part of my rebuttal. That was a genuine mistake, confusing it for the one that was properly branded, the one that was properly televised on a proper network, giving it the proper exposure. The BWSS isn't doing none of that.
Agreed.
This is true.
You're lucky if you see the shit. You know what? Where they're get the box check, because they're not even doing excellent. Where they get the box check is that their social media, Instagram, for the WBSS is at least very active, so you can stay up to date on there. But their website is shit. Their streaming capabilities are shit, and their ability to get a decent network to stream their fights is like shit and impossible. So I don't know. I don't know who the hell is signing up to watch a super featherweight WBSS when we can't even watch the middleweight or the super middleweight one or the cruiserweight one. And that rests my case, Your Honor.
I'll put it this way. I agree with all those points. I even mentioned those points at the top of this show, which Doomsday got mixed construed with the Tyson Fury topic.
What are you talking about?
They absolutely need American TV rights and US TV rights with Showtime or HBO or ESPN or Fox Sports, whatever it is. I absolutely agree with that. But the in-ring action they have delivered, I have loved. I think it's been all great action. I think it's been competitive action, and it's been relatively elite action too. The cruiserweight division's filled with every champion. I mean, how can we say that that's not good for the sport to have every champion in division in one tournament where it is specifically structured for them to fight each other? I have to give them credit for that. Plus, the action has been great. Now, has it been very difficult for U.S. fans to see it? Absolutely. And they need to correct that for this next series. And I hope that they do, because let's be honest, we and everyone else in the U.S. media and fandom have criticized them for that. So hopefully they review that and fix that.
Shout out to Andre Decote on the live chat. Says happy holidays, brother. Alex, hope you're staying away from the Brazilian barbecue. Just kidding. Hashtag 63 subscribers January. 63.
Now let's get to 70,000 subscribers by the end of January when we drop that 3-hour Keith Thurman interview from Patreon.
For sure, man. That's gonna be happy days, man. I want that interview out there to the public. I want them to see the work that we did, for sure, man. So I guess Jarrett Hurd calls out Islandri Lara. I like that. I think it's an intelligent move. I think that Charlo is obviously the bigger fight because he's more of a personality. People like his style, whereas people don't really like Lara's style. So that's not going to be the big money fight. Maybe he has a high mandatory minimum because of what he's done in the sport, but definitely not the money maker in the division. But the older guy in the division, one with a little more wear and tear. He's been at 54 his entire career. He's had a very brutal fight with Carlos Molina and Paul Williams, and then he's kind of just been like on the outskirts. He had that fight with Canelo, but it wasn't really one that'll grind him. But he hasn't really been pushed. He's living the good life. You see everything that he posts is him and his hot wife. It's not really him training. Is he still focused? Has he already? He changed his name to American Dream, Matt. I mean, am I far-fetched to believe that maybe you could catch this guy slipping? If you're Hurd, you're bigger. You can absorb more punches. This guy is used to running. I mean, he may not have the power to stop Hurd. Many junior middleweights have been hitting Hurd, and he's there taking your punches with his hands down. Like, yeah, right. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think it's smarter. I see Charlo has now kind of gotten this allure of being the puncher. So I would go the Lara route.
Well, I'll put it this way. Definitely Jarrett Hurd thinks that, or his team think that. They obviously think that narrative is true. And I'll put it this way. Who's the number one guy in the division now? Is it Lara or Charlo?
Like I said, the bigger fight would have to be
Charlo, man.
But the more recognized name, maybe the one to solidify you, right? Like if Charlo or Hurd beats Lara, they're automatically the man at 54 because no one has a better resume than Lara. No one's done more than Lara. You get that scalp, you're the head chief.
Agree, but then we also look at the year that Jamel Charlo's had compared to the year that Lara's had. I feel like momentum.
Yeah, but let's be straight, Matt. You're better than that. And as hardcores, he's had a great year. It was a spectacular finishes, but he beat a dude you never heard of and a prospect.
And I think those wins are better than Gaucher and what's his name?
Yeah, but you're assessing Lara based on last year. You got to give him again the man that beats him. It's
Not
like
based off last time, based on for this year.
No, it's like beating Cotto. You get all that resume, bro. You get all that. You know, he's a boss in the video game. He's an end boss, Lara is. He has enough accolades, you know, those names that he's been in the ring with and that he's been able to defeat. If you beat him, you kind of absorb some of that, you know.
I don't know.
What other notable fighter besides Canelo has Lara really fought?
He's been in there with everybody, bro.
But so has Jamel Charlo. Jamel Charlo has been in there with him too.
Yeah. But Lara still has the better opposition.
But he has losses to those opposition as well.
Hey, but he's in the ring with them. And those losses are questionable. Okay. First of all, no, Yuri Foreman isn't a big name or a credible name, but he's a name. Vanes Martirosyan was a decent name when he was active. I mean, where has he been? What have you done?
Beat him too.
Excuse me?
Jamel Charlo beat him too.
Yes. Vanes Martirosyan was a decent name when he was active. Where have you been? What have you done for me lately? Jan Zavic was a welterweight moving up. Delvin Rodriguez, welterweight, you know, but career welterweight, but had some fights at 54, faced Cotto at 54. Ishe Smith, durable fighter. Canelo Alvarez goes on to, you know, continue to show his greatness. Austin Trout, good name, biggest career win, Miguel Cotto. Alfredo Angulo, good name, probably past his prime at that time. Freddie Hernandez, good name, not on Lara's skill level, right? Ronald Hearns, Paul Williams, Carlos Molina, you know, all great names to have on your resume. Even Grady Brewer. You know, Darnell Boom, the same guy that knocked out fucking Adonis Stevens and knocked down Andre Ward. You know, let's not forget these things, bro. Like, you gotta, like, see, everybody, Ness, you're a boxer king. People think these are just names and letters. No, this shit means something. If you watch these fights, all this is important. You know, the Freddie Hernandez, right? Like, someone can say, Berto knocked him out in one. Yup. But did they watch the fight with him and Lara? You know, that went rounds before Lara had to stop him, you know? What about the Paul Williams fight? You look on the resume, it's like, that's a draw. But, dude, you know, Lara fucking arrived that day. And those three judges that scored that fight, still till this day, no one has ever gotten the punishment that those judges have received. And that was full suspension, indefinite. Nobody else has gotten it. With all the catastrophes that we'd have had in terms of judging, Matt, when have you heard of another judge being suspended indefinitely? Never. Only Lara got that off.
Good point.
Just saying, you know.
I agree. I put it this way. I think it's very arguable at this point. Maybe that's my point. That at this point, Jamel Charlo or Ezra Lara.
Listen, I mean, for argument's sake, you're right. I mean, just reading these names, the last like 4 years for this guy have been, you know, I mean, look, starting from fucking Angulo, which it could be said that he ruined Angulo or that Angulo was past his prime, because that was after Angulo getting his ass kicked to Canelo, right?
Ooh, was that before or after? I thought it was before.
No, that was after, because Angulo then signed with Heyman and lost those fights on the Heyman side of things.
Oh, you're right. And I'll put it this way: who's a better win, Angulo or Rosado?
Rosado, because he's been able to stay relevant. So I'm saying your argument may be right. I mean, everything after Angulo, besides Trout Well, no, I mean, I guess Trout, Canelo, Ishe Smith, Lainez, again, those are all good wins, and everything else is just like, you know,
I think it's smart. I think Jared Hurd, like the narrative that you brought up at the very beginning of this topic, I think that's the narrative that Jared Hurd probably believes. It's probably the narrative that a lot of fans are now buying in. Lara may be getting a little bit older, maybe getting a little bit slower. Jared Hurd's peaking potentially. He's a big junior middleweight. He could potentially take the shots of Lara while giving enough of his own offense back to Lara that he wins, sort of like the Trout fight. I think that's.
And let's be honest, as many gears as we believe that Lara had, he kind of fights the same way. And if you're Jared Hurd, you know the blueprint. He's going to be on the back foot. Just cut off the ring. And you're bigger than the average 154-pounder. So cutting off the ring should be slightly easier for him. His arms are longer. His legs are longer. He should be able to cut distance faster. And he reaches with his punches, especially when he's cutting or when someone's trying to slide out. He's throwing right hands. He's cutting off the ring well. And that's how he wears his man down. I wouldn't mind a Jared Hurd and Lara fight. And like I said, I think it's intelligent on his part. Any other headlines you got?
Frampton Donaire, Showtime is looking at that one to pick that fight up. I think that's a great fight to pick up. Very quick, topic. Nothing really to do this.
Showtime, you said, is picking it up?
Yes, they're looking at it. I didn't say it's.
I mean, it seems like Schaefer is really getting back into the swing of things, right? I mean, he's promoting the Mikey Garcia fight in San Antonio. And let's not forget that there used to be a lot of fights in San Antonio and in the Texas area when Richard Schaefer was doing business with Golden Boy. He had and in the Los Angeles area, Matt, where you're from, because he had that AIG Connect, I believe. It's like someone that bought like maybe a.
They were an investor, weren't there, or something like that?
Exactly. Yeah. I was gonna say a hedge fund that
I think we're a hedge fund that invested.
Yeah, that was investing in Schaefer and in, like, I guess, site locations. Not really sure how it works out. I know they had some sort of relations, or let's just say Schaefer had some sort of relations with a few arenas. And now we're seeing him back, and he's starting to take, center stage. He's starting to promote more and more Heyman fighters. And we could possibly start to see a change in tickets and ticket sales, because that's a guy that's proven. He did Broner Maidana in Texas. That he was the lead promoter on that. So Schaefer knows what he's doing. Donaire, Frampton, I mean, we've talked about this before. Good fight for both guys. Frampton's kind of on a decline, and Donaire been. So this would be a good win for Donaire if he can get it. I think that he has the size advantage over Frampton for sure. Can't wait to see the face-off, to see if he's taller or not. I always felt like Donaire was a big guy. He always starved to get to the lower weights, and that's why his body looked the way that it did.
Miguel Burchell is going to be fighting Christian Mijares in Cancun. I know Maddie mentioned Michael Burchell earlier.
And yes, that is true. He is fighting in Cancun. I think it's a shit fight. I'm not going to talk about it. But on the Richard Schaefer point, 2 points very quickly. Even though Richard Schaefer obviously screwed over Oscar De La Hoya in a shady business practice, I'm going to put that to the side. Also, Texas is one of the worst commissions in the entire country, if not the worst commission in the entire country. And it has put the lives of
Matt, I think that's changed.
Why is that, though?
I think that's changed. I want to say
regulations, and it's a very small budget and sort of.
I want to say the last Texas issue in boxing was Julio Cesar Chavez versus Brian Vera, where I believe there was like a very late urine test post fight.
Other stuff. There's been other stuff in other combat sports. It may not be just boxing.
Yeah, but I mean, other combat sports.
Again, the Texas Commission covers everything, just like every commission.
No. Boxing Commission is not the same as.
It is. Yes, it is. The
that
ABC
totally sucks, yo, because you MMA guys, you guys always on drugs.
Again, it's the same system that boxers are under. If you watch any commission hearing, which I have done, you have UFC fighters and boxers in the same hearings. But anyways, the Texas Commission is one of the worst commissions in boxing and all of combat sports. And there's tons of articles you can look up, Doomy and fans out there about it. It's easy to look up. I would assume just type in Texas Commission boxing. MMA, something along those lines.
No, I've seen commission meetings.
And putting that to the side, Richard Schaefer is a great promoter. He knows how to promote boxing, and Texas is a great market for boxing. So I can't wait to see what that is and how it unfolds. I know Nestor just jumped off. Doomy, do you have any other points on Donaire Frampton before we head out to the callers? No, because you muted. I know, it's okay.
So what
pretty much,
what
if
is
you want,
they not listening to or responding to because he's muted there?
No, I was trying to add filler while you were gone. Don't worry about it. We can head to the sponsors.
He wanted to talk about Donaire.
What?
Do it then.
I didn't hear you.
You said something about sponsors, right? So I said, are we ready for that? And I said, okay, let's do it then.
Yes, we can go sponsors and callers.
All right. Don't forget the number to call in, 1-425-569-5241. Press 1 time. You could add Nestor Gibbs on Skype to call us internationally, absolutely free. And we're going to go out to the sponsors, then our callers.
These calls are brought to you by El Camino Electrical Services, experts in electric vehicle charging stations. For consultations and turnkey installation, visit us at elcaminoelectricalservices.com.
Going out to the IG master, Matt. It's been a long time, right? He's been a busy man, my friend. Alex Lemon here.
I won't deny it.
Dollar DiBiase Productions.
Come with me. Hail Mary, run quick, see. What do we have here now? Showdown.
ThaBoxingVoice.com.
Dollar DiBiase Productions.
Oh, okay. What's going on, guys? Yes, Matt. You guys hear me?
Yes, we do.
What's up? Good. What's up, fellas? Hey, I want to hit 2 quick points, and I want to get to my main topic that I want to talk about. Mayweather and Dana White working out on a boxing deal. I think it's good. More boxing for us. I mean, if Dana White wants to go into promoting, it's fine. As long as he makes it credible, like the PBC did when they came in. I mean, I don't want to see like an XFL circus. So that's fine with that. And then about Anthony Joshua and Joseph Parker. I mean, Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn are smart, man. They're brilliant. They're picking Joseph Parker, who I think lost to Andy Reese. And we're talking about levels. I mean, Joseph Parker. We watched that fight. Joseph Parker, I feel, lost that fight. So I mean, what level is he on? But Anthony Joshua to capture that WBO title, and all he's going to do is add more leverage against Wilder. As you can see, they're already strong holding Parker into 33%. When he wanted 40 initially, he dropped him all the way down like 7%. So the leverage is crazy about that. But about Terrence Crawford, I want to say, congratulations, man. This guy is fighter of the year, man. His resume is, you can't touch it, man. Julius Ndongo was undefeated. He unified off of that fight. Felix Diaz, people want to discard him now, but at the time, Felix Diaz was supposed to beat Crawford. And Felix Diaz beat like Adrian Granados, who, everyone gave props for. They say he beat Broner maybe. Let's go with John Molina. John Molina, who they say he's done, right? Or he beat a tired John Molina. Well, John Molina just proved that he's back with that last win that he had against that dude, Ivan Redcock, with a Redcock. I can't pronounce his name. But and one more, Victor Postal. Victor Postal was number 2 at the time when Crawford beat him. And he was coming off of that Lucas Matisse knockout victory. So that right there gives him more credibility, man. I'm just telling you. My hat's off to Terrence Crawford, and I think I'll leave it at that note right there. Unless you guys want to come back at me.
Great points.
Great stuff, guys.
Did you mention that Alex kid, Alex?
Alex, who?
Come on, man. I try to leave it
What
open. The
Alex
door
kicked?
open for
Alex
you.
Aceto?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know we were going back onto the prospects. Okay,
No, I
read about him. Alex Aceto, man.
I wasn't going back. I just figured, that you was gonna pump up your guys because I seen that your prospect of the year is Gabriel Flores Jr. and that was obvious. But yo, as always, my friend, thank you for calling in. Let's head on out to Dirty Jersey and holla at Mr. King.
Just like the king is what I mean. The king is what I mean. My man, get a cup and put some change inside your hand. Shake it down. Now hold up. Let's make this official. Everybody, let's agree that.
TBV, what up, fellas? Looked at the topics tonight. The only thing that really intrigued me, if I'm being honest, man, Dana White, he's got to shut his pie hole because I don't even want to listen to him. We need to talk to the guy that gives him the orders because every minute he's saying something is going to happen. It doesn't happen. He said something that's not going to happen. It happens. He has no authority. He's just fucking shrimp. If the powers that be, whoever that are, UFC could do well by starting a boxing division. I think though, instead of Shields and Cyborg, they would have to marinate that. I mean, they would have to do some cross promotions. I think somebody mentioned Heather Hardy. I think they don't have a good enough relationship, but they would have to throw a bag at the Diaz brothers and make them really the face of UFC boxing. But if Dana White is in the mix, I don't see the Diaz brothers really wanting to do business with him like that because I don't think they have a lot of respect for him. But yeah, Shields and Cyborg, that'd be a hell of a fucking fight. But I think PD, all kinds of shit, man. It's an intriguing idea. As far as Joshua Parker goes, I think that's par for the course. Somebody said something about Tyson Fury and Shannon Briggs. I don't mind that fight either. I mean, Tyson's got to get in there with somebody. And matter of fact, I want to give myself a pat on the back because I think I mentioned that a couple weeks ago. But I think that'd be a pretty good fight. And then shit, give him the winner of somebody, or give him like Brazil while he's waiting for the winner of Wilder and Ortiz or something. But I ain't gonna hold up the line, fellas. Great show. That's my call.
Thank you for calling in, my friend. Always good to have you on the show. We're gonna head on out to Boston.
Yo, first of all, let me say, I don't pay showtime to see you all there, not even putting a goddamn motherfucking effort. If I want to see two motherfuckers just fight, I pick up a fight with somebody in the street. Don't need that shit. You don't love that sport, my dude? Just move along. Gone. Fuck you. Next, you had a great show. Come stop, donate.
Georgie, going once. We going out to JP. You're going to JP in Long Beach.
Long Beach in the house. Yeah.
Hey, man, I see it like this. I think the most significant win this year was by a guy who okay, hear me?
No.
All right, that good?
That's better.
Hello?
That's better.
So I think the most significant year was by a guy who only fought one time in Andre Ward, and that's by far. Because that fight, as we knew before going in, was for the P4P. You also had two guys in their relative prime, elite competition, a guy going up in weight. It was by far the most competitive in most fights that held the most significance this year. And he only fought once, but he had the biggest win this year, and it was emphatic and in a great fashion. So the guy who accomplished the most this year, and it's a pretty clear win, is Terrence. And so even though the guys he beat, we would, question how good they were. But of course, he did do some type of historical feat, so you have to consider him. So to me, it's actually a two-way race between those guys. And with all that said, you'd easily say, most people easily say it would be Crawford. But for me personally, I have Andre Ward as my fighter of the year. Now, a lot of people gonna shit on that, but man, he clearly won the fucking biggest fight of the year, the most competitive fight, and he won it in dominant fashion. Fury, I take the Briggs fight, and also a dude who made it on my shit list for guys I don't ever want to see again, and I'm sad to say this, Adrian Broner, you finally made. I never want to see you no more, along with Brandon Rios. And, it's hard to make the shit list too, dude. It ain't easy to make it because, I still want to see Chavez Jr. in some way or shape or fashion. You know what I mean? So it ain't easy to make the shit list. But he's made it. And, that's all I got, though, guys. Thanks for the show.
All right. Thanks for calling in. Let me get on out to Atlanta, home of the Milkman.
I told y'all a long time ago, the Kirkland will go down in 3 rounds.
Who's next? I got milk, baby.
Yeah, it's the Milkman. Hey, what? Are we running down a list of various picks for the year or something tonight? I just got on.
Right. That's not.
We got the possible.
That's later.
Yeah.
The TBV award show will probably be Sunday. Come on.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I guess the topics at hand is Floyd and UFC and AJ and Joshua. Yeah. So, what are we hearing talks about Floyd and the UFC doing some type of business? Can y'all clarify that?
So Dana White has said that he is meeting with Mayweather's team to negotiate some sort of deal with the UFC / Dana White becoming boxing promoters in a sense.
That's interesting. Now, the interesting thing about that, and it wouldn't happen overnight, but could we possibly see a shift in boxing if UFC gets involved, where boxing has a UFC model, where it's one ruling organization, so to speak? Could that happen? I think maybe it could. It might be good for the sport. It's something, a lot of people have talked about. So it might be cool to see what they do, man. It's always good to have some different competition coming in, revamping things, reshaping things up, and kind of seeing where we go from there. So I think it's a good thing. Joshua and Parker, I think it's a good fight, man. Obviously I want to see. I think Joshua is in a better state mentally and physically, skill-wise. I think he can take that fight. And ultimately, I want to see him fight Wilder. So that's my take on that, man, and I'll leave y'all with it. That's my call.
Milkman, thanks for calling in, my friend. We're going out to Dallas, Texas. Gary, what's up?
Yo, what's going on? Real quick on the fighter of the year thing. Who's the better fighter, do you think? Chocolatito or Felix Diaz?
Chocolatito.
Okay, who do you think is the better fighter? Chocolatito or Indongo?
Roman Gonzalez.
Okay, so why is Doomsday not your fighter of the year if both his wins are better than both of Crawford's wins? I'm saying Crawford's a better fighter, but that's not what the award is. The award's for fighter of the year. So why is Doomsday not your fighter of the year?
Because the first win was highly questionable, and that's to put it lightly. And the second win, while it was a great knockout, It's also the same opponent. And I give it to Crawford because Crawford beat 2 top 5 opponents in the division, and he outclassed them and dominated them in every second of their fight. And to me, that's the difference. The domination of Crawford is the difference.
So in the second fight, Rungvisai didn't dominate Chocolatito. He killed him.
He did, but the first fight he didn't.
And then let me ask you this question. How many times did Andre Ward beat Kovalev?
1 or twice.
Twice. So Ward beat Kovalev twice, but Rungvisai doesn't get credit for 2 wins over Chocolatito? I don't get that.
Well, we really
no, but Kovalev was controversial.
Do we really give Ward credit for the Kovalev first fight? We don't really give him credit. He gave him an instant rematch.
Ward win the first fight by a point, so.
Yeah, he got the W on paper. So did
Chocolatito.
Just getting the W on paper doesn't mean that the fans think he won. The fans didn't think Ward won that first fight. Fans didn't think that Sarah Cat won the first fight. Right?
The first fight was a fight of the year. I mean, I scored the first fight.
I'm not denying that.
No problem going either way.
For both cases are fight of the year. I thought Andre Ward Kovalev was a great fight, even though some people hated it. And I thought Chocolatito versus Rungvisai was a great fight. Again, but they are questionable wins, and the dominance of Crawford is why I give him the edge. Rungvisai did not dominate Chocolatito. He did not.
Crawford beat the best guys in his weight class, which was a fairly soft weight class. I'm not saying that those were the best guys available, and Crawford beat them. Rungvisai beat a guy who was considered top 2 or 3 pound for pound in the world, regardless of weight class.
Agreed.
Gary, you're the man. Thank you for calling in. We're going out to Josue in the Lower Oregon. What's going on, Josue?
Hey, yo, what up, Nas? Hey, yo, what up, Nestor? Hey, long time no talk to you, but what's up, Matt? What up, Enrique? What up, Doomsday? Hey, I just wanted real quick, man. I just wanted to, Ness, I wanted to congratulate you for another successful year of the Boxing Voice, man. You know, you've been working hard. It shows, and I want to show you some love, brother. I can't wait to see what 2018 looks like for boxing and for the Boxing Voice, man. So keep it up and keep up the good work, guys. And, that's all I got, man.
Thank you, Josue. Hope you have a happy new year. Heading out to Los Angeles, Info Joe. Ness, play that soundbite. Come on. Play that intro. Ness.
Call him in the zone.
Call him in the zone, talking to Rodell.
Or out of the zone.
Or Elias. Like, you're talking to one of them, let's be honest. Joe, we're going to you. No intro, apparently, because Ness is on some hater shit.
Ness, get off that hater shit.
What up, Info?
We live?
Yes, you're live.
We live, Joe.
What up, Ness?
What up, Joe?
Ain't no show without Info Joe. I had to say that to cap off the end of the year. Yo, I want to say Happy New Year to all the callers, listeners, everybody in the chat. I wish you wealth and health. And I'm going to go left field on this one, y'all. I have a new resolution for 2018. I will try to be a better boxing fan. I will never call anybody that steps in that ring a bum, a coward, etc. Since we've been doing this Border Wars thing, I had an epiphany. Matt, play the song, the mystery music. Yo, I went... There you go. Yo, I went from a fight fan critic to someone trying to live it. And I have a whole different perspective now. I've been going to the boxing gym for the last, 2 or 3 months or so, and I've seen all the hard work these amateurs go through, all the injuries, bruises, busted lips, pain, blood, sweat, and tears, just preparing for the real fight, myself included. This shit is not no joke. We as boxing fans, myself included, we are quick to criticize and say, oh, this fighter, he should have did a pull counter. This fighter should have kept his hands up. He should have ducked. I challenge any of you to go to your local boxing gym. Try this shit one time. This shit is not as easy as it looks. Even if you just try the workout, it takes a real special person to get punched in the face for a living. So I have respect for all fighters that step into the ring, from the least talented to the best. So my new resolution for this year is try to be a better boxing fan.
Yo, let me find out. Let me find out. Border Wars is 2 weeks away, and you fucking shaking in your boots.
Yo, to be honest, I haven't seen Joe in the gym in like a month. So
I've been going to the gym every other day. Even I'm been working out double sometimes in the night and the day. Me and your times don't match up, none of ours. So I've been going on my own time.
You better, because Lemon
don't
going.
Chip, potato chip.
You better go, because
potato chip.
I don't know, Joe. I see Santiago at 213 pounds. I see Fern going 8 straight rounds.
Man,
Info.
I started off at 185. I do 200 push-ups or more a day, 200 or more sit-ups a day. I ran two miles every other day.
What?
Good for you. Good for you, Info, man. That's what's up, man.
Don't think, hey, man, y'all don't.
You trying to catch a body, huh?
Y'all seen before. Hey, man.
I think right now, Info Joe went dolo like Wolverine right now. He training. He's self-motivated.
Joe, you saying that all my Border War shows motivated you? All that shit I talked, huh?
Yes, it has. Most definitely, man. All that shit talking, man. I'm glad you did it. And hey, man, this shit ain't no joke, man. That's why I had to write this, man, as my new resolution, man. Because we all boxing fans, we call in and talk shit. But trying to do this shit, man, it is hard. I never put so much stress on my body, man.
Yo, I was telling somebody that shit today,
I
bro.
see the other side now.
I told that shit to somebody today, and I said, man, you know, for them tough guys, I just want to see them skip rope for 12 straight minutes. Just show me that. 4 rounds of skipping rope if you so badass. You know, they think boxing is so easy. Just show me you could do that right there, and I'll be impressed, man, because boxing is a motherfucker. Yo. It takes a lot. But, Joe.
Boxing is a motherfucker. And they don't get paid. Shit.
No.
I mean, not until they make it to the pros in the big time. But look at all the fights they got to go through just to make it there, man. I'm telling you, man, I have a whole different respect for all the fighters now, just from being on the other side now. Trust me.
Look at
Shit
you.
ain't no joke, y'all.
Sounding like a fighter. I'll tell you what, you more of a fighter than Doomsday. Shots fired.
They've been doing this to me all the way till the scale. I'm gonna get shots.
Yo, and after the scale, you're still gonna get shot.
Worse.
More shots afterwards. Come on.
Worse. Joe, we love you. See you out there, yo. Make sure you save some of that info, Joe, for me. I'm coming through. Ed, word in Alabama.
Hey, what's going on, man? I just want to speak on the Dana White thing. I think it's a little disgusting that he even would mention boxing. I understand it's a lot of money, but he spent years trying to annihilate boxing, talking it down. I don't really like him. I think he's like more the old school promoter. Yeah, he makes fights and all that type of stuff, but it's just, I don't want to see it. You know, it's like you've been talking about a movie for years on top of years, and then when they say, hey, we got a role for you, you come running to get into the movie. Nah, I'm good off that. As far as, well, anyway, that's pretty much all I had to say tonight, man. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good night.
Edward, brother, thank you for calling in, my friend. Fellas, early night with the wind down year, not slow year. We cannot call it a slow year. It's just winding down. It's about that time, you know. Everything's gonna ramp up. January 20th, we got Earl Spence versus Lamont Peterson. Matt, anything signed before that now? That's the biggest first fight, right? The biggest first fight, January 20th?
I mean, there are at least 5 world title fights this weekend. They're in Japan. Hashtag hipster alert. If you want to know all about them, tomorrow, when
cut it.
Hey, get that shit out of here. Get that shit out of here, Ness. Tune in to 8 count on patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice when it drops tomorrow, episode 4, I believe. And I'll break down the entire New Year's Eve Japan.
Shameless plug by Matt Hunter.
I mean, those are world title fights, Ness.
Matt, did you watch?
What weight division is this?
These are all like super fly or like light fly or like minimum weight.
Is that like 118 to 126? Is that
No. This is like 105 to like 115.
Matt, what are you doing?
Did you watch my vlog, Matt?
Yeah, I did watch your vlog. What were you talking about it? Come on.
Liar.
Yo, the vlog where you cut all your sparring out and you posted only my sparring out.
Vlog, not that vlog. That's what I'm saying. First of all, I didn't cut it. Secondly, that's exactly
because you edited it. Come on, fam.
That's exactly the way I released it months ago. You understand that all I did today was go from unlisted.
No. Months ago, you cut out your sparring and only posted mine. So
yeah. So I don't understand. Why would you think it's different when I go from unlisted to public?
It's not different. I'm just gonna hate on it now.
Oh, you're gonna hate on it more?
Yeah, of course. Come on.
Oh, well, I mean, look, your popularity is soaring right now. Your stock has risen.
Right.
So
right.
You know.
Hashtag Border Wars, January 16th. The Warren. I smell some food out there, man. I'm hungry. I'm hungry, man. I can't wait.
You trying to eat flies?
Oh, man, flies are delicious. Excellent source of protein.
They must call you the lizard or the iguana. Coming into the fight, that's gonna be a nickname, the iguana. You hear that? La Mosca. You gotta face the iguana, Matt the iguana.
Yo, I'm Matt Thips Hunter. You can find me at Mixed Combat News on Twitter, Matt Hunter TBV on Instagram, Mixed Combat Radio, my MMA podcast. Maybe Ness is gonna join that on Saturday. I don't know. That'd be interesting. Yeah,
I would. If we don't got no boxing, I'll do it because I'll watch it. As long as where's that fight gonna be? Is it free?
Yo, you know we can get it to you for free.
Oh man, I'm not doing streams. I don't even do streams for boxing. I'm gonna do streams for UFC. Are you fucking crazy?
Yo, why
not? Why not? You're crazy.
Yo, what else are you gonna do on Saturday? But anyways,
I'm gonna fucking chill with my girl. If we ain't got no boxing, she'll be happy to have a Saturday. She never gets one. Listen, I'm your host, Nestor Gibbs. Find me on Instagram at NestGTO. Do say. Alexander's.
And I'm Alex Doomsday Lainez. You can find me on IG, Alex_Doomsday. You can catch me
like that. Why
y'all been getting at me this whole time.
Such a bad friend.
Yo, let me tell you something. Border Wars is gonna be Judgment Day, also known as Doomsday. So you talking, trying to gun me with my weight. We gonna see who can put these 3 rounds in without huffing and puffing. All the talk is gonna be over. Border Wars is right around the corner. So let's see what's up. I gotta keep
Yo, ain't you 212 right now?
Nah, that was Eric, man. I don't even believe Eric. I think Eric is lying.
All of you guys are lying.
I definitely believe Eric Cruz is 212, man. Come on.
Really? You don't think he's fucking
slacking?
Yo, sparring tomorrow is all I know, Matt. And I bet you when I text this guy, he's gonna be like,
"I'll be there."
I woke up sick.
He won't be there. Anyway, all right. You know, always lies. Doomsday lies more.
Yes, bro, I'll be there tomorrow. Like I said, my IG is Alex_Doomsday _LAINEC.
You're not the lion. You're
Ness.
Lion ass.
Bro.
Come on.
Bro, Ness, you already know, bro. You know, Coach say, "Hey, Al, you ready to move?" You know my answer is, "Hell yeah, Coach, let's go."
I know, not like Enrique. We should do a Border Wars in like an hour. Enrique asked, "Yo, you know what Enrique said, Matt? He's like, yo, I'm going to the gym tomorrow, but I ain't sparring." I'm like, Enrique, you ain't been in the gym in 2 months. How you not gonna spar? It's 2 weeks before your fight. He's like, yo, I need a regular workout. I'm like, bro, you working out every day at your little aerobic gym. What you gonna do in a boxing gym doing aerobics? Like, you gotta get in move.
Y'all want to call me the Zumba dancer? Shit.
Yo, but
my man,
the last time you sparred,
man, come on.
The last time you sparred, motherfucking Glenn Tapia was still fighting, B. So get out of here.
What you talking about? I sparred Iron Minds the other time we went.
The other time you ain't.
Which was what, a month ago? Come on.
Nah, not a month ago.
Did you spar the same day I sparred?
Yeah.
Oh, so he sparred like 10 days ago.
Yeah.
10 days ago. No wonder you're gonna miss weight.
Yeah, but you gotta remember, our sparring is like real sparring. You over there tickling yourself.
Good one.
We out.